Test. Test, test, test. Okay. Let's see. Sure we get these up there. Alrighty. Wait for some people to join and get this thing started. Well, we got one viewer. Really tough. Really tough loss. Fire deserved better. I agree. I agree. We should have walked out with the score line that it was flipped. We really should have. We got one viewer. Really tough. Really tough loss. Fire deserved better. I agree. I agree. We should have walked out with the score line that it was flipped. We really should have. Completely agree with you. Let's get some viewers. Let's turn on that. We got 5 viewers right now. 4. What's going on, guys? Get some viewers. Let's turn on that. We got 5 viewers right now. 4. What's going on, guys? What's my opinion about the game? I fully believe that that score line should have been flipped. Game ended 4-1 for Orlando. Should have ended 4-1 for Chicago. I mean, you think about the 2 that went off the post, the missed penalty by Madron, the VAR from Calvo getting called back. What's my opinion about the game? I fully believe that that score line should have been flipped. Game ended 4-1 for Orlando. Should have ended 4-1 for Chicago. I mean, you think about the 2 that went off the post, the missed penalty by Madron, the VAR from Calvo getting called back. We must win the next 2 games. Completely agree. What are we sitting at right now? I think we're sitting at last place. Let's see. With that loss, I'm pretty sure we moved Orlando back up to pretty sure we moved them up to second place and secured our spot in 14th. Dead last. VAR was BS completely. Right now, I think we're sitting at last place. 100%. That loss, I'm pretty sure we moved Orlando back up to pretty sure we moved them up to second place and secured our spot in 14th. Dead last. After we get some people in here, I'll throw up some tweets of some questions that were tweeted at me. I'll throw them up on the screen so you guys could all see them when I'm reading my opinion on them. Yeah, I mean that 4-1. Those VARs killed us, and then what happened with Baric and Madron on that penalty? Can the Fire make a complaint to the MLS about the second VAR? That's a very good question. I don't know. I want to say yes, but I don't know the technical terminology for that. That's a very solid question, though. Alrighty. So, what do you guys think about the game? I got some notes written down here. Starting off, what did we think about, you know, Frankie being injured and they're not disclosing the injury of what happened? Also, Fabian having to sit out because of the yellow card accumulation. Collier, Elliott starting. How are we feeling about this? I mean, for me, Elliott as a starter, Sapong on the bench, that doesn't make very much sense to me. I don't know. Wiki's a lot more involved with the team than I am. I don't see them every day at practice. I don't know how they perform in practice. Wiki's obviously a professional, and he's been doing this for a lot longer than me. Now, he may know more, but I just don't see how Elliott starts over Sapong, especially when we don't have Frankie, even though Frankie has been underperforming, or Herbers. I wonder if the injury is why Frankie hasn't seemed like the player he was last year. Maybe. That's a good point. Maybe there is some underlying medical condition or injury or, even something small like a hamstring. Like a slightly pulled hamstring or a inflamed hamstring or something along those lines that has been affecting him the past few weeks since we came back from the MLS's back tournament. I mean, I don't know. How are we feeling with the first game with fans back in the stadium? I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is the first game for the Fire with fans in the stadium. Do you think that played a role or any effect into the game? I personally think the Fire performed quite well today, even though the draw was not, the ending was not what we wanted, and the team kind of fell apart in the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. But I thought the first half we looked like the better team. The second half, for most of it, we looked like the better team. I feel like we just kind of got unlucky about it, but that's just me. I agree about being confused why Elliott's starting over CJ. Probably CJ's not back physically for a full 90 minutes. That could be. That's a very solid point. That's a very solid point. Um, who knows though? Even if he's not ready for a full solid, 90 minutes, can we start him for the first 45 and make him the first sub at the 60-minute mark or somewhere around there? You know? Then we put on Elliott. And it's hard to say this because Elliott didn't play bad either. He didn't play bad in the first half. He had a couple good plays. He set up a couple good plays. The biggest thing is he is one of our tallest players, and he probably, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but he probably has the lowest percentage for headers in that game. And he's 100% the tallest player on that field. What do we think about, Berich's first goal, or first almost goal, off the post? How do we feel about that? I mean, that was probably one of the most disappointing goals that didn't go in. One of the most disappointing shots that didn't go in. That first goal, Berich puts that in, and it doesn't get deflected to hit off the post, or off the crossbar, actually. I think that changes that whole pace of that game. The Fire roll off that. I believe the Fire snowball. I think if Berich finished that first one, and that first one went in for us, I think we snowball. And then the rest of that is just easy money. Anyone you were disappointed about? Huh. Hard to say Calvo, because Calvo technically put the ball in the net. Um, there was a couple plays where I thought Calvo could perform better. All three of the defenders on our team that let the ball roll past them for the Orlando goal. That was humiliating. Can't talk. Berich and Madron, disappointed in both of them for their attitudes and their, how they reacted to one another during the PK. How they handled themselves on the field with cameras on them. It made our team look slightly unprofessional, if I do say so myself. It looked like we had no team chemistry and that there were inner feuds. Leading from the Berich and Madron issue, what do you guys think Wiki said to them in the locker room? I mean, Wiki obviously had to say something to them in the locker room. Yeah, that was bad. Hopefully that's been figured out. I hope so. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in the locker room there to know what Wiki said. I hope there's a public announcement from Wiki in the post-game interviews with press. I hope there is a public announcement from Wiki about that specifically and what he did to address it and correct it. Big ups to Calvo, our captain. He actually showed himself as the captain during that and got Berich to back off and allowed Madron to take it. Ended up not being the right call because Madron missed. Beautiful save by Orlando. It's hard to take that away from him. It was a beautiful save. It was a great save. Madron needs to sink that. And it leaves us with the question is, would Berich have scored that goal? I would love to get into that. What are we thinking about that Madron PK? How are we feeling about that? I mean, personally, I don't know why he was taking it. I know the commentators were talking about designated penalty takers and designated players that take penalties and corners and free kicks from fouls and all of that. And I fully believe in that, and I feel like we need to do that. But Berich was signed for our club to be the goal scorer. I know Madron made the play. You know, I mean, that entire play and that penalty was because of Madron. But does that really give Madron the right, or does it give him the reason to take that penalty shot? Not saying he can't take it or he is incapable. I mean, Madron has proved himself time and time again that he's a great player who can score goals and make plays for our team, but was he the right person to take that penalty there? John said I think Barrich would have scored. I think so too. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I think Barrich would have scored there. But would he have scored the second one? It Thing about penalties to me is it's all a big mind game between you and the keeper. If he goes right like he did when he scored the PK, would he have gone right the first time? Then the second time, would he still go right? And would the goalie read it the second time? I'm looking forward to hearing more about why Madron wanted to take it. Hopefully Tyrus will tell us. I hope so. Um, I want to know why he wanted to take it. I could see it potentially being because he made the play that made the penalty happen. Um, Even though we're talking a lot about this, though, I mean, I feel like it's a valid point to bring up that they did shake hands and hug it out after Barrett scored, so it seemed like the bad blood was kind of meshed, gelled, mashed, stomped on, whatever the saying would be. Um, but I think the biggest thing is why didn't Wiki step up there? The camera panned to Wiki and he was sitting in his chair during this. His team's arguing on the field in front of him. It looked like for a moment Calvo couldn't get the arguing to stop. He ended up doing it and performing as the captain should, but it looked like for a moment Barrich wasn't going to let it go. Why was Wiki sitting? Why was Wiki not up on his feet screaming to his guys? You saw Barrich looking at the Barrich was looking at the bench either for guidance or an answer or anything. I don't know what he was looking there for, but you saw Barrich was looking at the bench after he backed off the ball. I fully believe Wiki needs to be stepping up there, getting out of his chair and screaming. It's his team. He's the coach. He needs to lead and guide our team. I personally tweeted after that PK, after Madron missed, I personally tweeted the game was lost there. I thought after the Barrich versus Madron duel and then Madron missing the PK, I thought the vibes of the team were going to be shot. I thought the morale was going to be low. The team chemistry was going to be shot down. The team wouldn't work well together after that. But I was actually wrong. Um, they actually did come back and put one in later after that. They did play good for the rest of the half. And even the start of the second half, they played well. I fully believe that that scoreline should have been flipped. Should have been 4-1 Chicago. What do we think about the Sekulic goal for the VAR? Uh, handball? The handball they called? What about the high kick? The high kick in the VAR. Sapong couldn't head the ball for Orlando. Sapong could not head the ball to clear it because of the high kick. How are they not gonna call that? I mean, that's the problem we keep seeing with VAR is they're taking goals back more than they're allowing goals. I mean, there's no give or take here. I think I'm gonna try to put some questions up on the screen here. Make sure these go up. That was demoralizing, the VAR call on Sekulic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that put the nail in the coffin for us, honestly. I feel like that may have put the nail in the coffin for us. Also, Orlando had a handball. Yep. I think it was on DK. If I'm not mistaken. I think it was on DK. Um, but I could be wrong there. Let's see. Let's try to get one of these questions up on the screen. So the first question being from Andy142. Do you think we have a shot at playoffs? I'm starting to think not. Ugh. Yes. Yes, I think we have a shot at playoffs. I fully believe we have a shot at playoffs. But we need to figure out these little things. These little situations between the Baric and the Madron PK. What was going on in the box when Orlando scored the fourth goal? Why the ball rolled past 3 defenders on the first goal? We need to figure out what's going on with the back defensive line and communication because there always seems to be a lack of communication. Is it a language barrier? Is it not respecting other players? What's going on back there? Our defensive line seems to fail us every single match week. And there's only so much blame you could put on goalies or Calvo, the captain. At a certain point, you have to start looking at it as a whole. I would really like to know what's going on back there. Let's see if we could find another one. Let's see, let's see. Second one coming from Render312. He said, "Do you think we have a shot at playoffs? What is it going to take for the Chicago Fire to achieve success against LAFC and Atlanta United?" Ugh. Obviously, we have to win games. What is it going to take for the Chicago Fire to achieve the success against them? First off, healthy players. I know Frankie hasn't been performing well, but we need a healthy Frankie. When he is performing at the top of his games, he is one of the best players in the MLS. I think we just need more time. In reality, in all honesty, I think we just need more time. We're being super critical of this team that is a brand new team full of rookies, sophomores to the team, people of all different cultures and languages, all met under one coach who's also brand new to the team. I think the key to our success is time. Let's see if I can find another one. Okay. For a third question, let's see. This one says, from Seagursk, who do we trade for Chris Mueller? I don't think we trade anybody for him. I think Georgie does a great job. It would be great to have him. He's a great player, but do we need him? I feel like our midfield's heavily stacked with good players. I mean, I feel like we have a solid mid and up top team. I mean, our attacking as a whole, I feel like, is pretty solid. It's just we have to learn to capitalize on these. We've seen Madron he's able to take shots. We've seen Georgie prove he's able to take shots. We've seen Frankie's able to set up plays. I mean, we saw this the past couple years with Frankie. We've seen Baric is able to score. Sapong is definitely able to score. I don't think we need to add anybody to the roster. I think we just need to fine point and fix this roster. Figure out what the issues are, go into practice, and finish them. I I feel like that's what has to be fixed. But Once again, that's just me in my opinion. All right, let's get back to some of the notes I have written down. Um, let's see. Nacho hit the post. The second the second post of the game early on in the first half. It's another one that should have been a goal that should have went our way. I'm not really sure how he struck the ball. I kind of think he just ran into it. I'm not sure though. I don't believe it went directly off of a foot or the chest or the head. I kind of think he just ran headfirst at the ball and just let it hit whatever body part it came in contact with. I feel like a little more of a discipline from that, like putting your head on the ball there, would finish that goal. Um, to the Barrage post, I think Barrage could finish that 100%. I think he could finish it better, do it more well. But for the same token, it was a deflection. As a striker, you cannot read deflections. You cannot read where the man's going to put his leg up. You could have estimated guesses and pretty solid estimated guesses. At the end of the day, we're all humans, and he can't make that split-second decision exactly where that man's going to put his leg, so you know not to put the ball there. It was a freak accident that the ball got deflected off the leg and goes off the post. Uh, I think luck was just not on the Chicago Fire side today. It was not on the side of the Chicago Fire. It was definitely on Orlando's side. Home field advantage. What it could be. I always say the Soldier Field blessing. The home field advantage of Soldier Field. The Soldier Field blessing. I think Orlando City just had home field advantage today. Back to talking about home field advantage. Let's talk about this referee. I I I want to know who he is. I want to know his name. I just want to have a chat with him. We need to talk about this VAR system. We need to talk to the people about who's controlling these VARs. They need to show us the camera angles they're seeing this from, that they're taking these goals back. How are they saying Collier or Elliott is affecting that play there to stop the Calvo goal? I don't see it from the two camera angles they showed on the MLS stream, on ESPN and on WGN. There was, in either of the angles they showed, it didn't show how Elliott affected the play that would have VAR take that ball from Calvo. That was a perfectly headed ball to the back of the net. No interference from Elliott. I don't see how they take that. The VAR from the Sekulic goal, absolutely demoralizing. I mean, absolutely demoralizing. But there was a handball. There was a handball for Orlando. How do you not take that into account? But then when it comes to the other VAR, Sapong has a boot in his face. It's practically under his nose, and he can't effectively go to the ball with his head because the man's got his boot 7 feet in the air. How is that not affecting the play? How is that not affecting our line of defense to the play to call that goal back? These are the things I would like to know what they think about, what they talk about on their little microphones on the field when they're talking to people in an office, looking at it on a TV from 80 different angles, but they only show us one or two. That's what I would like to know. At the end of the day, the score was 4-1 for Orlando. It should have been 4-1 Chicago. We were the better team this week. We just didn't have luck on our side. It's been about 30 minutes. This is my first ever podcast. I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you for everybody who stopped by. John, Knapsap, all of you guys, anybody who joined up, the people who tweeted me the videos, anybody who's helped me with this, I appreciate it.